Welcome back to another episode of Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy, and on this channel, we cover BRCs, bitmaps, and ordinals, of course. So today we have a very special founder interview, and on this channel, we really dig into the founders. We help you guys with research. That's what the 100% of the show is for. We are for research purposes only. So we're digging into a really, really amazing project, ORC Cash. You guys heard of them. They're on Magic Eden. We have Sonic. And Sonic's going to give us his background. It's going to be an amazing show. But as always, let me bring in my co-host for this evening, Mr. Yagobi. I said evening, but we are in the morning. But we are evening for Sonic.
GM,
GN, dude. Oh, so this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, for sure. When I first got into the ordinal space, I remember I was just like, what is all this stuff? And I joined a Spaces. And then Mattyverse, we talked about this. He kind of walked me through Unisat, how to use it. And like the first big Spaces I joined, I remember seeing Sonic in there and saying that, he was representing Unisat at the time. This was back in May or maybe late April. And I was just like, oh, okay, so this is a representative there. So I was just like listening to him, and he seemed like very intelligent about the space, and kind of seemed like he had some really good ideas of where possibly it's heading. And so I was like, oh, this is a guy to really, pick his brain. So I'm excited for this one, especially to learn more about ORC Cash.
For sure.
It's a proposal, or not proposal, it's out there, right? So it's a protocol for a new token standard. And obviously we need something that can help, whether that is something that coexists with BRC or just helps it in some way. So I'm excited.
Oh yeah. So without further ado, let's bring in the man himself, Mr. Sonic. Welcome to Ordinal Revolution. We appreciate you being here.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
Can you hear us?
Hi, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
All right, so on this channel, we like to dig into the person. So if you can kind of give us your background before crypto and kind of lead us up into crypto, that would be amazing.
All right, no problem. So I actually took my education in the University of Sydney in Australia, and I was studying mechatronics engineering for a bachelor degree, and then I got a project management for my master degree. And so I graduated around 2012 for a master degree, and then went back to China to work for a company that was a sort of an engineering management company. And I have get involved in some major construction projects overseas, especially in Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and there's oil refinery factories. There was electricity generator companies, and so I stayed in that company for over a year, and then I just couldn't find my passion, and so I decided to join the internet industry. And so the first startup was with a couple of my university colleagues, and we started this company called Yummy Australia. If you're in the US, you might know a company called Urban Spoon. It was a really popular Yelp site that was based in the North America, and they had the Canadian market, they have the Australian market, and we just saw that was sort of the Web 1 version of the sort of food review and directory website, and we want to upgrade that to a more modern style. And that was around the time when Yelp was really popular, and it hasn't got into Australia yet. So Yummy Australia was kind of our attempt to do something like that. And so unfortunately, there's a company called Zomato coming from India that acquired Urban Spoon. So basically they got all the data, all the user, and just took the market with a storm, and we essentially have lost our business. So then later on, I have to do another startup, which is called Life Menu, and that was the idea that came out of a Japanese comic. I think I can't remember the English name, but it was about a food hunter and a chef taking a pair, and then they go out into the world and hunt for all the rare ingredients, and then cook them into the most delicious food. And I thought that was a brilliant idea, and so I want to turn that into a product. And so the idea is everybody have their left menu, and it was a 8-course sort of a you can fill in your blanks, and it's based on the Italian 8-course meal. It was the entries, the salad, the main course, the fish, the meat, and the drinks and the soups, and then you have the dessert. So essentially, you can fill in anything that you have ever experienced, and you have to give it your best ever food and fill that into your left menu, and that's sort of represent you. And there's this concept called you are what you eat. I thought that's a great tool to actually make friends. You can do social interactions with your left menu, and maybe getting some like matching from your friends to strangers, and to see each other's left menu and sort of as your personal food card that you can just present to people and tell them who you are and what you're about. So that product was really just my passion project, and I give it a lot, and it got really well received from the comics community, and they loved the product and they've been using it. But later on, it was really hard to sort of promote to the general public, and the concept of the left menu is really hard to educate. And as a internet startup, you need that easy converting, that user acquisition, and you need that traffic. So I thought I should do something more.
We're losing you a little bit. It seems like you're frozen.
All right.
Yeah, it's still you're still really choppy.
How about now?
Perfect.
All right, great. So Sorelax was a cross-border service providing platform where you can find anyone that lives in another country to do something for you. It could be like a tour guide, or just buying something for you and send it to you, and or just local food recommendations. And so that was the last product I did with my startup, and we've gathered like 4,000 to 5,000 different people from 20 countries onto that platform as service providers, and then I think it grows to like 200,000 users that send a request to this app and find different kind of services. And that was around 2017.
Okay.
So interesting enough, there's a blockchain company that have heard about our services, and they want to do a global roadshow tour with our service. And they asked me, can you help us present our projects to 10 different countries within a month? I said, okay, let me try. We have all those service providers. We can definitely try that. And so they just send me a PPT, send me some posters, and just say, go for it. And they ask for the videos and the photos and to send it back to them. And I thought that should be easy enough. So I took on this task. And to do that, I first have to learn really hard about what their project is. And there's all different kind of concepts. It's like proof of work, proof of stake, what's the difference and their advantages, and the Merkle trees, the blockchain, the gaming series, and everything about Bitcoin. And I have to do it in a crash course of 2 weeks. So I went through all the documents, all the videos I can find online at the time, and just dig really deep into how Bitcoin and blockchain actually works. And I was fascinated about the just innovation, and actually throughout this experience, I got to meet a lot of crypto people, because I'm just asking all of my connections, do you know Bitcoin? Have you ever held any crypto? Have you ever done anything in blockchain? If you do, then you are my guy. And
Hell
so
yeah.
through that, like 2 week, I got to know, got to find out actually who of my connections and on my WeChat actually knows anything about crypto. And we talked and we shared the ideas and send them the PPT. I have to educate them on the product, and then they have to go out and do the presentation for that product. So that was a really interesting experience. I think one particular memory that I had about that experience was I got in contact with the guy from Melbourne. He was the director of Blockchain Center in Melbourne. His name is Martin Davison. And he said, okay, we have a scheduled like a gather up, and we can do your presentation in that event. I said, well, that's great. Let me pay you some fees so that you can print out some banners, posters, and help us promote this. I said, okay, great. And I immediately asked for his bank account, which is a mistake in the crypto space. He said, no, just send me Bitcoin. I actually don't have any Bitcoin at the time. So I went to the company and asked them, can you send me some Bitcoin so I can pay the service providers? He said, okay, no problem. So I downloaded a wallet. I think the most popular wallet at the time was Jack's wallet. And then I received some Bitcoin from the company and I sent it to Martin. And within 10 minutes, he said, yeah, I got it. And then he just did the thing for me. And that was a totally mind-blowing experience for me, because I've studied in Australia for 7 years, and I know how hard it is to do like cross-border remittance. And it'll usually take me a week to just send some cash money from Chinese bank account to the Australian bank account so I can pay for my tuition fees. And with Bitcoin, it was 10 minutes and was so just fluid, and it was so easy to do. I thought, wow, this is going to totally revolutionize the whole financial and just monetary systems. So after that whole task, that whole ordeal was done, I was convinced that I have to join this industry. So I went back to my company and talked to every co-founder and all the employees. And I told them, okay, we are at the tail end of the sort of mobile age. I think we should join this new emerging market, this industry called blockchain. And luckily they agreed.
What time frame was that?
This is right around 2017 in June or July.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, so how then we can join this? So my idea was, okay, I'll just sell our company to this blockchain company. It seems that they actually need us and our services, our capabilities. So I went to the blockchain company and talked to the founder and said, okay, we want to join this industry. I'm going to bring my team, my product, my whole thing, and join you. Just buy my company. And he agreed. So that was
wow.
I actually joined the blockchain industry.
What a great introduction to the blockchain industry. We'll just buy you guys out, and then you can join us.
Yeah. But you might have heard that in September, the 4th of September, China decided to totally ban crypto trading, right? You can't do fiat crypto trading anymore in China. And that essentially killed a lot of the businesses in China, and including this blockchain company, and part of their major business is the exchange in China. So because we joined, they actually had a chance to go overseas. so I helped them to structure the whole VIE structure, the BVI, the Cayman, the Hong Kong company, and then we kept 3 major businesses. One is a crypto-to-crypto exchange. Another is a wallet that our team actually built. And the third one is a crypto venture fund that's called ValueNet Capital. And that was my sort of venture within this blockchain company. And we invested into a lot of those early ICOs, I think, including like Wax Style. That was the first crypto like NFT trading market actually that first launched CryptoKitty trading.
Oh, wow.
That was really popular. And we also invested into a Australian company called Power Ledger. And that was the biggest like P2P power trading company with the blockchain technology. That was founded by Gemma Green from Perth. And I think we also invested into some European, like Lithuanian-based companies that was founded by Tony G. If you play poker, you might know this name. He's a legend poker player, and he have a few projects of his own, which is Coin Poker, and then there's Limpo. We invested in those, and we also invested a lot of money into Celsius. But yeah, we got the first ICO round, and we exited the tokens already. So there's no.
Oh wow! So you were able to avoid the disaster?
Yeah, we actually exited a long time before they even brought the like Celsius trading, the staking, before the staking. And so I think luckily we avoided the whole downfall. We also invested in a company called Robocash, which is a gaming distribution platform that was trying to revolutionize the whole Steam model. And they used the blockchain to issue the game licenses so that you can actually trade it around directly on the platform as sort of a GameStop online. And they also charge really low distribution fees. I think that's a great idea. It was founded by a VP from Atari called League Jacobson, and also a gaming legend called Brian Fargo, which is the founder of InXL Gaming. And I think a few of his signature games is the Fallout series and the Wasteland series. I've played both of those extensively. And we also did actually we have held a significant BNB position at the time as well, though we didn't invest into the ICO. And that was ValueNet, and that was up to until 2019 when the ICO bubble kind of slowly bursted. And I met another guy called Patrick Byrne, who is the founder of Overstock in the US. You might have used that platform. He came to China to promote his new blockchain venture called T0, which is the security token trading platform. And what he did is he went around and sent out like 20 lawyers all throughout the US and buying all the proper licenses, the trading engines, every kind of security trading platform that he can find, and then combine them together, and then went to the SEC and said, okay, we're building a security exchange, but we're using blockchain technology. Would you approve this? And they have a lot of back and forth with the SEC, but eventually they got the green light to actually launch the exchange. And so I actually started another fund of my own called Ledger Z Capital, which is focused on investing into security token offering infrastructures, including like T0, and I think what was popular at the time was Open Finance, Shares Post, but security tokens, it grows really slowly because anything that's connected to regulations takes a lot of time. It usually takes 6 months to 12 months to launch a project, a token, and then that's going to take a lot of time to actually have some really good assets that can be traded on the platform. So while waiting for that, I get bored and started playing with NFTs a little bit. I actually didn't buy any NFTs on Ethereum, even the CryptoKitties with the investment in Wax. But I really got into NFTs because I saw a new game-changing model of NFTs on none other than a fork of Bitcoin, which is the BSV network. So in 2019, they already started doing like smart contract development, and also there's an early marketplace called RelayX that launched NFT issuance and trading. But the NFTs on BSV is very similar to Ordinals. Actually, it's fully on chain. All the JPEGs are on chain, and it's trading on a UTXO model, a proof of work model that is Bitcoin. And that got me really intrigued. I think this is, file on chain fully in the blocks. That's a game changer to me in terms of NFTs. So I thought I should buy this. So I spent, I think, around like $300,000 buying up some of the premium collections on BSV, and that got me to like immediately become the biggest holders of NFTs on BSV.
The whale.
And
so are you known as Sonic the whale over there?
yeah. If you talk to any BSV people, they will know there's a guy called Sonic that holds a lot of based apes and a lot of Uni Society. That was kind of the first two like Bored Ape Yacht Club and Azuki like collections.
Gotcha. Wow.
But I don't want to sell those NFTs, so I started a NFT guild called BAMS Guild, which is short for Based Apes Monthly Subscription.
Yeah.
So because I don't want to sell those, I said, okay, you can actually rent this to use as a profile picture. Like you just need to pay like 1/24 of the actual cost of this NFT, and you can rent it for a month. If you rent for 24 months, then you get the NFT. And we also do.
Man, you're an entrepreneur, man.
Yeah. I was about to say that. After honestly, Shizzy, I was gonna say that like out of everybody that we've interviewed, like there's a lot of experience in the people we've interviewed, but this type of experience is different. It's like almost corporate, like a ton of corporate style experience in the crypto scene, right? So this is kind of like our first interview with a lot of this. Is interesting. It's exciting to hear. So
such a business mindset. Like everything to you just comes as like, how can I make money with this? It's amazing.
We need to interview you more frequently so we can see the future. I feel like.
All right. But yeah, so go I think we should move on. I've talked a lot about myself for 20 minutes.
Yeah. So
of the details.
So Ordinal started in February.
I moved from BSV to Ordinals simply because all the companies actually came to Ordinals. Like the two collections I talked about, that was done by Twitch, and Twitch did Ordinals wallet.
Okay.
And RelayX was the platform that actually issued our BAMS Guild token, and RelayX did RSwap. That was the first PSBT trading marketplace on Ordinals. So all the BSV guys went to Ordinals, and I just came with them. So I got really early into Ordinals in February, and I think I also inscribed a few like sub 10,000 JPEGs, and I actually did a word collection called Money Love, and that was done on the 14th of February. So I inscribed the word money in 109 languages, different languages, onto the Ordinals. And then I inscribed another collection called Love in 109 languages as ordinals. I think both of those are sub 100,000.
Wow.
And then I minted like 2 words every month after that. The idea was to preserve the most fundamental heritage of human culture, which is the language itself. And I think preserving language on a time chain that is permanent is going to be really meaningful in the future. A lot of cultures actually lost their languages throughout history, and
Oh yeah.
to be able to preserve them, that would be, and also in a sort of a organized way where you can just see the single concept in 109 different languages. I think that's going to be powerful.
That just
awesome.
gave me like a mind explosion, because you don't think about how many lost languages there are in history, and this solves that, you know, because it will forever
Put
be
it all
there.
on chain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Awesome. So let me ask you a question. So like you said that BSV has a similar concept with the UTXO and having the JPEGs on chain, but they don't have like the ordinal theory sequence stuff, right?
Yeah, I think that's really a genius design by Casey Rodamore. I think back in December last year that he introduced the theory. But it didn't get any attention at the time until this guy called Dennis, and he wrote an article that's called Illegitimate Bitcoin Transaction. And he went through the whole history of protocols on Bitcoin. And he talked about Counterparty, Omni actually being the first ever NFT and also fungible token protocols built on Bitcoin. And even USDT was first issued on Omni. And the rare paper trading cards was the most popular collections on the Counterparty protocol as NFTs. But the Bitcoin Core decided to essentially limit the operate turn code on Bitcoin, and that was the space that they innovated on. And that single change killed both of those protocols. It's not until 2017 the Taproot, the SegWit update, and also the Taproot update later on that brought a new opportunity for Casey to build sort of this new structure to upload data onto a blockchain. And I think it's really simple and elegant that you just inscribe data onto a single set, sort of use this set as a pointer to the data. So the set actually becomes the ownership of the data that you upload, and it's easily tradable, it's easily transferable between wallets because it's just UTXO, right? Just a Bitcoin set. And that design is really powerful and can be used generalized on all the UTXO models. So BSV, Litecoin, Dogecoin, even BCH now have their own Ordinals protocol built on their chain. And now they're doing all sorts of like RC20, something RC20, LTC20, BSV20 protocols that's mimicking the BRC20 protocols. So the Ordinals movement is not limited to just BTC. It's actually a wider UTXO model innovation that can be adopted by multiple networks. And that's so also the first idea that I had with ORC Cash is to actually promote this more, I think, native and efficient protocol to all the UTXO model chains to upgrade their own sort of BRC20 copycats.
Yeah. I actually was talking to Shizzy about this. It's like the whole Ordinals movement has almost created a whole new like sector of DeFi, like almost like a new network of DeFi with the LTC20, DRC20, and like you said, the Bitcoin Cash or BSV or whatever, whoever that has that UTXO style can mimic this. And I feel like they're kind of sitting back and waiting for like Bitcoin's like evolving the ordinal space, and then they're gonna. It's kind of about like the EVM, what EVM did, like with all these other chains. But so ORC20 is, that sounds very interesting to me. Is there a way, because I feel like the BRC20 market cap is so big that there's no way to just kind of toss that away. Is there a way to kind of coexist with these things, or like maybe even transfer the BRC20 into it? how would that work? How would ORC Cash continue?
Yep, great question. So when BRC20 first came out, I've actually been criticizing it for over 2 months. It's not until May that the founder of Unisat, Lorenzo, decided to invite me to join the team, that I have to force myself to experience the BRC20 minting, deploying, transferring transactions, just to experience the product. And I think that experience actually gave me a lot of insights into why that was so attractive. The fear launch mechanism really was the whole new different game that nobody have ever seen before. It's you're minting the coins yourself. That's really powerful. You're not buying it from anyone. You're creating this token just by inscribing data onto Bitcoin. But BRC20 have its inherent sort of shortcomings, because Domo is still trying to design a accounting system on top of a cash system. And accounting system is the Ethereum system, right? It's a state machine. You're recording all the wallets and all the balances on those wallets by all the nodes. And it's a huge ledger, and it keeps all the books of every account. It's like your bank account, essentially. But Bitcoin doesn't work like that. It's a UTXO model chain, which is UTXO as the unspent transaction output, which can be translated to just the Bitcoin you haven't spent yet. And that is the blood on the network, and that can be traded P2P, and all the nodes only need to authenticate and validate whether this UTXO is a good UTXO. And that's how they actually process the transactions. And so I think if you're designing something on Bitcoin, you should think in terms of cash, not in terms of account.
That's
and that was my first idea. So I actually talked about, I think early in March, when BRC20 first came out, I talked to the CTO of Ordinals Wallet, Harry, and also Jack from Oswald, and just said, well, if you just trade those mint instructions like a cash bill, that would be more efficient than the current design. We just trade like 21,000 of the Audi token mint as cash. I think that would be even more fun and interesting and more efficient than the BRC20 design. But we start at how to actually split that balance. If you want to spend, let's say, 500 instead of 1,000, how do we then split that balance into different, like, smaller denominations? And slowly the idea came to me. So I give this idea to ORC20 in forms of like ORC improvement proposals, OIPs, because ORC DAO sort of position themselves as this like decentralized organization where they accept community challenges, community proposals, and to improve their protocol. Their first version of the protocol was actually really, I would say they have some good ideas, but the fundamental UTXO model wasn't right. They're trying to simulate a UTXO on top of instruction, which still doesn't use the underlying Bitcoin security model. I have to give them a lot of OIPs to really change this protocol into something that's now been accepted by the community and the developers as this core idea of the protocol of ORC20. But the problem with that is still they have this legacy logics that we still need to build, because the community has been transferring and trading tokens on OTC based on those logics. So to build an indexer on ORC20, you have to build the legacy logic and then have a snapshot at the block height of like 800,000 something. And then you need to build the later logics, which I propose. And I think that's sort of the main barrier to adoption for a lot of changes and a lot of developers, because of those legacy sort of weight that's been keeping this protocol being widely adopted. So that's the main reason that I have to single out the core ideas that I give them into a more simple and stable protocol, which is ORC Cash. And
Gotcha.
with ORC Cash, the first idea is it's a cash system. All the mints of the tokens becomes cash bills with a serial number. You can send it to anyone and it will be worth the token that you minted. And the token always follow the ordinals, the UTXO, the inscription, and unless you burn it. So I introduced a concept called a burn wallet, which is a known black hole wallet that you need to send your inscriptions, your ordinals to. And then if you send a valid mint instruction to this burn wallet, our indexers will recognize that you are not sending the token, you're trying to split it. And the indexer will recognize your burn action and then split that token, separate that token from your UTXO and give it back to your wallet as a credit. And then you can spend those credit to inscribe additional smaller denomination send instructions. So if you burn cash, you have gained rights to print more cash. That's the idea.
That sounds awesome.
And with this credit system, there's actually more interesting things you can do with it. I think Bob Bodley also was very interested in this credit system because he loves the flexibility and the efficiency of actually just transferring credit. Because the credit actually floats on your wallet address. So the ORC cash system is sort of half cash and half account. The cash itself can be transferred from wallet to wallet and always be valid if it's a proper valid mint. If it's a proper valid send, it's always cash, always valid. You just trade as a ordinals. And it can be listed on Magic Eden. Actually, the listing on Magic Eden wasn't done with any indexer support. It was just one community member uploaded the whole 21,000 valid mints as a collection, as an NFT collection onto Magic Eden in their portal. And that's how we get started trading on Magic Eden.
Oh, really?
And, oh, wow.
Yeah, that
so
was.
It wasn't like an official, initially, it wasn't like an official partnership?
Yeah, so essentially our indexer, we got this list of valid mints, the 21,000 mint of the OSH token, and I give that list to the community, and they just started listing on multiple exchanges as an NFT collection, because you could just trade those ordinals as the token itself. Our indexer will recognize that. And then if you want to burn it, you can have more interesting operations to do with those tokens, namely the airdrop function and also the sell function. With the airdrop function, you can essentially just airdrop credits with one single instruction to multiple wallet addresses in one go. You can airdrop to 100 wallet addresses, 1,000 wallet addresses with one single instruction.
And Shizzy actually pointed that out right away. That was something that he realized, oh, this is a big benefit for founders because you can do that. So let me know if I'm hearing you right. So first, from the very base level benefits of the ORC Cash is, one, you can skip that transfer inscription when you're trying to list it on a marketplace. Is that correct? It's more direct listing for the original inscription mint ordinal. Or do you still have to go through? Okay.
No, if you participated in the mint of the token, then your mint instruction immediately become the token itself.
Gotcha. So if, for example, I purchased 1,000 ORC Cash mint or ordinal on Magic Eden, if I want to sell that, then I can just do the easy listing like the regular NFTs. Okay, so no transfer inscription. So you eliminate that. So that's one benefit. The second benefit is if I want to split up, because at that point, whenever I just get the mint and it's 1,000, I still have to sell it in that 1,000 bundle as is, right? If I don't send it to the burn address. So it is still kind of, other than removing the transfer inscription, it's still that has that BRC20 kind of state. But you eliminate the transfer inscription. Second benefit is if I say, okay, well, I don't want to break it up by a transfer inscription, I can send it to the burn wallet, and the burn wallet will send my 1,000 token mint ORC Cash and break it up into 1,000 individual credits back to me.
Yeah, it's a number on your account, basically, your wallet as your account.
Okay. Can I list those credits?
Those credits might have possible like DEX futures
Gotcha.
that can actually just start trading those credits directly without any instructions. But essentially, if you want to change the state of your token holdings, it has to go through some kind of inscription to keep a immutable record on chain. Because
Gotcha.
any token balance change has to be put on chain.
Gotcha. But they are broken up into 1,000 individual credits.
So it's broken into just credit on your account, and then you can inscribe, let's say, a send inscription in the denomination of 100, 200, anything you like, until you spend all your credits.
Okay. Now that makes a lot more sense to me now. So basically, it's like at that point when I burn it, I'm able to break it up at that point into individual credits, but each time I break it up into a denomination, it's in one inscription, separate inscription.
Yeah, a separate inscription called send inscription, which you can use. It immediately become cash bills again.
Okay,
it can be circulated, can be traced.
It's like another minting process whenever you do that.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Awesome. I mean, you know, anything that is to try to innovate the space, and especially with the BRC20 protocol, I feel like there needs to be ideas and stuff like that goes. So, Shizzy, did you have something that you were going to ask?
No, I think it's basically the ORC Cash. Like, what is the future of ORC Cash? Do you see? Do you see it as its own thing eventually, or what some ideas you can give the community?
I want to talk a little bit about the sell operation. Actually,
okay.
I think that was going to be a really powerful tool for any project. So the idea of ORC Cash, first of all, even with ORC20, they have lifted the character limit of the token tickers. So you can have multiple, you can have 1-letter tickers, 10-letter tickers, whatever you like, right? So that sort of add a dimension to the possibility of the protocol already. And then there's this new token ID system where you can have ID1 ORDI and ID2 ORDI. Similar to how ERC20 smart contract works. You can have same ticker names deployed at multiple times, but you just have to tell your community which token ID or which smart contract address your token is, and then they will know which token is the valid and the real one. So with the token ID system, that allows another dimension to the protocol possibilities. So this is a more 3D open protocol that can be adopted by any project any time. If they want to launch, let's say USDT on ORC Cash, they can do that. Because on BRC20, you can only deploy a 4-letter ticker and one time. So USDT has been deployed very early on, and it was a free mint. So when Tesla came in,
it can't be a stable.
Fuck this, we can't use BRC20. We ruin our tickers. So,
that's hilarious.
So with ORC20 and ORC Cash, they can actually do that. They can deploy their own USDT with a different token ID if they like the ID 69, ID 42, whatever they want, and they can have their own token deployed on this protocol. And also they can upgrade their token protocol specs if they didn't turn it off. There's an on and off switch of the upgrade function. If you want to have future upgrade abilities, then you can increase the supply limit, the mint limit in whatever way you like, with some limitations and the rules around that. So if there's a stable coin, then they can actually have initially mint like 100 million token and then increase the supply to 200 million when there's more buy-ins. and that will be very flexible for any project to adopt. So I think the last thing I want to talk about is actually the sell function, the sell operation that I introduced. With the sell operation, that also costs your credit. So if you burn any valid send or mint instructions, you will gain this credit. And you can sell this credit with a sell instruction. And the sell operation is very similar to ERC20 smart contracts. You put in your ticker name, the amount of token you want to sell, and the price of the token you want to sell at in terms of Satoshis for each token. And then you can put a time limit in terms of block height. Let's say I want to keep this sell order valid for 100 blocks or 1,000 blocks. I can just put in 100 or 1,000, and that will be valid for that amount of blocks, get confirmed on chain. And after that, it will be auto canceled if it's not sold out. And then you leave behind your wallet address that you want to receive the Bitcoin at. And then you can put in the buyer's address in the buyer bracket so that it can become a trustless OTC trade. Let's say Yagobi wants to sell 1,000 ORD to Shizzy, then Yagobi can initially gain 1,000 credit by burning a valid mint, and then he can inscribe a sell operation onto his wallet and then send that sell order to the burn wallet to activate it. And once it's activated, it cannot be canceled until it expires. So Shizzy just need to send enough Bitcoin to the wallet address that Yagobi leave behind, and you get the token automatically. The indexer will recognize that UTXO change and any transfer of Bitcoin into that wallet address, and we will credit you with that token directly.
Nice.
So that's the first scenario, is a trustless OTC trading.
Yeah.
And you can also put multiple wallet addresses in the buyer bracket, and that essentially becomes a whitelisted token sale.
Let's say you want to sell.
That's cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. You can sell, let's say,
Talk
1
about
million
streamlining.
There's so much possibilities with this. This is amazing.
Yep. And you can sell 1 million tokens in the price of 100 sat each, and for like 10,000 blocks. And whoever send Bitcoin to your wallet will get that token, just like a ERC20 smart contract.
Yeah.
But then you can also put just anyone, the word anyone, into the buyer bracket. That becomes a public token offering.
Oh, wow.
And you can also put the expiration date never, so it can never expire.
Yeah.
And once you deploy that sell order, anyone that sends Bitcoin to your wallet address at any time can buy the token until it's sold out.
Wow.
Man. I wish we had more time because I have like a million questions for him. The one I do have one question I want to squeeze in before, because I know Shizzy and I have to host a spaces soon. But the one question that I have is, because I think like from what I'm hearing, I think ORC and BRC can coexist, or like there's going to be, if ORC is going to continue, there has to be some type of merging of these two or something, some solution, right?
I just want to, briefly.
Exactly, but sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
The way that we do backward compatibility is ORC Cash actually support BRC20 deployed and also ORC20 deploy of the token. So if you deployed it on BRC20, we will recognize it through our indexers automatically. You don't need to do anything.
Oh, nice.
We also recognize the mint of your tokens.
Perfect.
But what we can't recognize is the transfer logic, because if we recognize the transfer logic, then we have to build all those logics.
Yeah, because that logic is different, right, with you guys. So that's the difference. Yeah. Well, my question was,
we're airdropping all the tokens to whoever minted BRC20 tokens or ORC20 tokens, and their mint instructions in BRC20 and ORC20 will automatically become cash.
Gotcha.
When our indexer starts supporting this.
Yeah.
So it can affect BRC20s in terms of cash. But both of those protocols have an issue still in terms of, from everything I've heard, is liquidity, living liquidity on chain. And the fact that you were with Unisat at one point, and I had to ask this question, Do you know of any of the mechanics or anything that they are working on with that solution that they seem to have come out? And does it seem viable?
I have no idea. I know they announced the swap, but
Yeah.
I have no idea how it works, and they didn't talk about it publicly either. I
Gotcha.
didn't ask Lorenzo about it. Hopefully, there will be something that we can also learn from and build on top of ORC Cash as well. I think the stable nature of ORC Cash with the token always following the UTXO will make trading a lot more fluently, and also the credit system will add more flexibility to whatever DEX want to build on top of. So if it's any good solutions, I think it can definitely be adopted by ORC Cash as well.
Yeah, sounds awesome. All right, well, this is the point in the show where we usually give you the stage. Where can people find you if you want to say anything to your community that's going to be watching this? Then this kind of the stage is yours. You can say whatever you want.
Thank you. That's really great. My Twitter account is what I post most of the updates for the protocol itself. And we also have an indexer platform already built called infoset.io. There's a Twitter account for that as well, infoset.io. And so if you want to follow anything that's going on ORC Cash, I think following those two accounts will be the best way to approach this. And the doc was simply with the domain name ORC.cash. And that's actually the main reason I decided on this name. Is just that domain is too good to pass on. The ORC.cash is where you can find the specs of the protocol itself and have a read of all the design philosophies and the history of why ordinals came into be, and BRC20 and ORC20, and also the domain name innovation on top of ordinals, and all the operations and all the burn wallet addresses for the protocol. Hopefully this protocol can be adopted by multiple UTXO model chains, because I have that built in where the burn wallet is already chosen on each chain. And so essentially you can start deploying those ORC Cash tickers on all those UTXO model chains. And hopefully we can build an indexer to support all of those. In the future, we might build also another wallet that first will support ORC Cash on BTC, and then ORC Cash on all those other chains. And there's a possibility of cross-chain atomic swaps with what we're building. So you can trade BTC to BSV, to OSH, to Litecoin, and also the tokens on top of those. So I think that would be a really good product that I personally want to see happening. And I'm happy to build that myself.
That's awesome. Well, we'll definitely have to do a part 2, because like he said, we have so many questions, and then next time we can and that gives us time, we can kind of dig into it ourselves and rewatch the video and kind of understand everything you're saying. So let's definitely schedule a part 2, because this has been obviously, I mean, amazing. So
yeah. And for everybody else, we're gonna put all of Sonic's links in the description as always. Shizzy's great at that. And then make sure you smash the likes and hit the sub. And also follow Sonic. This guy has a ton of information about the space. Obviously, you heard his experience, and then we'll definitely follow up with him for a part 2.
Thank you for listening.
All right. Thanks, Sonic.
Have a good day.
You too.